Three players meeting all criteria: Nelly Korda, Lilia, and Zhang. To get a fourth, the U.S. would have to have another player inside the top 15 in the world rankings. Allie Ewing came as close as she could. Good finish at the Women's PGA. She's 16th in the world rankings. And with that, we welcome in Golf Channel contributor Ron Sirak. Taking a look at that roster representing the U.S., Ron, what stands out about those three players?
Well, I mean, a year ago, we were probably not even thinking of Lilia and Zhang, as being in there, and they both earned their way in. And I think one of the other things that we got to look at here, very, very quietly, the United States has taken the mantle as the dominant power in women's golf away from Korea. The Korea and the United States will be the only two countries who will qualify three for women's golf. But if you look at the Rolex rankings that came out today, there are 7 Americans in the top 25. Japan has 4, Korea has 3. 7 Americans, who really had a legitimate chance of all working their way onto the team. And it may very be that making the U.S. women's team might now be the toughest team to make.
As we look at all the players, 60 who are on their way to Paris, is there a contingent from another country that you think could have a good games?
Well, the Koreans who are going to go all have are battle tested. They have the experience being there. Yuka Sato from Japan is somebody who has proven a 2-time major championship winner. And I think that she's somebody to keep an eye on there. Japan is very quietly also emerging as a power in Asia now. As I said, they had 4 players. They have 4 players in the top 25 of the Rolex rankings right now.
Amy Yang finishing up her very first major win in her 75th major appearance after several close calls, obviously, finally gets it. And you've covered her throughout her career. What about your thoughts on the journey to finally becoming a major champ?
I think this victory is going to change the entire perception of her resume. I hope it will. For a long time, 21 top 10s in majors without a win, and that was viewed as a negative sort of thing. But now, with this win yesterday, you look back at that resume. Look at the golf courses where she finished in the top 10. Oakmont, Carnoustie, Birkdale, Pinehurst #2, Olympia Fields, Atlanta Athletic Club. Look at the players who won the championships where she was on the leaderboard. Didn't win, but it was Yanni Singh at the peak of her game, Inbee Park at the peak of her game, Lydia Ko at the peak of her game, Paula Creamer, Michelle Wee, Inji Chun, So Yeon Yu, Brooke Henderson, Nelly Korda. She has put herself against the best in the world and proved time and again that she can compete in the toughest situations. I do think she's 34 years old. I think there's more to come for her. I think maybe her belief will catch up to her ability now. She's got to keep in mind that Phil Mickelson was almost 34 when he won his first major, and he ended up with 6.
Talking about Nelly Korda and the historic season that she started, and that about a month ago she's not made a cut, including 2 MCs at major championships. Is this an issue, Ron, or is this just golf?
This is a very interesting time for her because I think we've seen this before. It's tough to get to the top of the mountain. It's even harder to stay there when you get there. All of a sudden, there's all these other distractions that are coming you from the media, from sponsors, from tournaments, from the tour that you're playing on. There are all these demands, and you have to learn how to juggle all those balls. And it could be that she'll regroup and come back out there and start to win again. But this is going to be an interesting couple of months stretch ahead of her to see if she's really, really wants to be the queen of the hill, stay up there and knock away all the other pretenders.
The LPGA commissioner, Molly Marcoux-Simon, makes a habit of saying venues matter when it comes to women's golf. So how did Sahalee fare as a major championship venue for the first time in 8 years?
I was there in 2016, and the thing that strikes you about that golf course is it feels more claustrophobic than it really is. The fairways aren't necessarily narrow, but those towering pine trees just make it feel like you're walking down a hallway the entire time. I thought the course played spectacularly. I thought on TV it viewed spectacularly. It was just an incredibly beautiful thing to look at. Again, another one of those venues that elevates the perception perception of the women's game by throwing them into a major venue where the men have had championships and proving that they can handle any course that's thrown their way.
Speaking of championships, still 2 majors left on the women's schedule, plus the Olympics, plus the race to the CME Globe. So what storylines as we start the summer are you watching?
Well, we got those 2 majors left. We have St. Andrews, we have Avians, and one of them will be how does Nelly bounce back from there? Does Lilia Vu continue to show that she belongs to be one of the top players in the world out there? What I love about both the Olympics and Solheim Cup this year is that we're going to get so many fresh faces in there. As I said, Lilia Vu, Rose Zhang, we weren't thinking about them a year ago, and they're going to be stalwarts both in Paris and at Solheim Cup. And
how about the women going back to the old course for the first time in over a decade? That's got to be great for women's golf as well.
Absolutely. The first time they were there in 2007, the best player in the world, Lorena Ochoa, won. That's what you want to happen when you go to a special venue, to have one of your special players to win. The next time we were there, 2013, Stacey Lewis hit an incredible release and run 5-iron on the road hole to 5 feet to make birdie and in a birdie finish to win it. She was the best player in the world then. So that's the storyline that you want to see happen. We're going to one of the sacred places, one of the incredible venues in golf. You want the big names to show up and make a run at it on Sunday.